Hey guys, welcome to a very short, very weird video where I'm just going to talk a little bit about my stats, my reading stats, because I kept track of them all year. So I just want to tell you because, if I kept track of them, I'm going to tell you. I used a spreadsheet and just kept track of various things that I'll tell you in a minute, categories, and then I'm going to tell you just a few goals that I have for 2023. So I don't want to make charts for all these because I'm lazy and I'm tired and it's, late at night. So I'm just going to read off the stats and hopefully you don't mind that there will not be a pretty chart or anything over here on the screen. I read 77 books this year, which is crazy because my goal was to read 26 books because I thought, okay, if I read 26 books, that's one book every 2 weeks. That sounds like a good goal because I just had the baby. I hadn't read I think I read like 15 books the year before and that was it. So I kind of went hootie wild with reading, mostly because of audiobooks, thank goodness. Not counting all the books I DNF'd, which is still a lot of like thousands of pages, that I read on some of those, but not counting those, I read 27,897 pages. That's crazy. So over 30,000 pages counting all the DNFs. The shortest book I read was only 118 pages, and it was House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. The longest book I read at 640 pages is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. My average page length was 653 pages, or sorry, oh my gosh, that'd be insane. 353 pages, so that seems very average. And my average star rating was only 3.47 stars. So that's kind of disappointing because I'd hoped for, you want closer to probably a 4-star, rating. That means I gave a lot of books 3 stars because I gave very few books 2 stars. So that must mean I gave a lot of books 3 stars. A lot of 4 stars, of course, as well. And a few 2 stars and a few 5 stars. So I guess it does even out. As far as the physical, audio, and ebook breakdown, this is really interesting. Physically, I only read 30% of my books. Audiobook wise, I read 60% of my books, and ebooks I read 10%. So obviously I consumed over half of the books I read were audiobooks, and that's probably how it's going to be this coming year as well because I can read them so much faster. I do like double speed or 1.75 times speed, and I can just get through them so fast, but I'm a really slow reader when I'm actually sitting down to read. Standalone books, I read 53% of the books I read were standalone. So the other 47% were in a series. This is shocking to me because I feel like I used to always read series. Like all my favorite books are in a series. The Harry Potter series, the Dresden Files series, the Vampire Chronicles, Game of Thrones. Those are my 4 favorite book series. And so I hardly ever just read standalones. So the fact that 53% of the books I read this year were standalones, that must mean that I'm really letting BookTube influence the books I'm reading. So that's kind of interesting. That was an interesting statistic for me to see. I kept track of new authors and authors that weren't new to me. I'd read from before. New authors, 64% of the books I read were from new authors. That's crazy. I guess it's just because I was branching out and finding a lot of new people from BookTube. And 36% were not new. Some of them I'd heard of before, but a lot of them were just repeat authors that were new at the beginning of the year and then were not new like later on. Male and female. So this was interesting. I figured it would be split half and half. It was not. Female authors, 71%. Male authors, 29%. Like mind blown. I feel like most of my favorite books are usually from male authors, but clearly not. I guess of my 4 favorite series though, Dresden Files and Game of Thrones are, male authors, and then Harry Potter and Vampire Chronicles are female authors. So I guess that's split pretty half and half. But yeah, 71% female. It's wild. I also kept track of the dates, like the years that the books were published, and there were definitely more, I won't go through all that, but there were definitely more newer reads than I imagined, like 2019, 2020, 2021. It was even 2022 I had some, so I definitely was reading more newer stuff, whereas used to I do feel like I read more older stuff. Age ranges and genres. Let's talk about that. The age ranges. 56% of the books I read were adult. I actually thought it would be higher than that, so just a little over half. 35% were young adult and 9% were middle grade. Okay, that seems fair for that. I think the young adult is going to keep going down even less and less. I mean, I know I'm literally a high school librarian that deals with young adult books all day, but the quality of a lot of them are it's just not good. As far as genres, so now this is not going to add up to 77 because some books are multiple genres and I counted them twice. So because really some books it's really hard to tell, like it could be a fantasy romance. So I counted it once in fantasy and once in romance. So that's why this will not add up to 77. But I read 30 books this year that were classified as fantasy, and obviously that was by far my highest. I read 14 books that were classified as mystery at my second highest. That was interesting. I read 11 sci-fi. Didn't think I'd read that many sci-fi. I read 10 horror novels. I read 8 thrillers. I read 6 reality, like realistic fiction novels. I read 3 historical fiction, which is like, who am I? I read 3 autobiographies, aka 3 nonfiction, because I didn't read any other nonfiction except for those. I read, 4 romance, which is like, that's kind of crazy. Now, some of the other things had romance, but that's just like pure romance. I read 4. And 1 dark academia that I didn't know where to count in anything else, so I just put it in its own category. I read 3 graphic novels, and 1 light novel. Yeah, that's all the statistics I have. I just thought that they were kind of interesting and wanted to share them because I literally spent a very long time keeping track of them, and for no reason. I don't know if I'm going to keep track of them all again this year, but maybe I will. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So let's switch now and talk about goals for 2023. I don't want to make too many. I think I said this last year for 2022, because I just want to read and have fun with it, honestly. So really, as far as I've got reading goals and channel goals, my reading goals are to read fewer books because I want to do other things with my life. I focused a little bit too much, I think, on reading sometimes. I would just be like, oh, I have downtime, I must read. Well, now I've gotten into a game with my husband. We play Dreamlight Valley, which is like a Disney game. But it's kind of like Animal Crossing meets The Sims meets Pokemon Go. It's a bunch of different games put together, basically, but it's so much fun. And so we're just playing that, and that's fun. And then I don't have to be stressed about, oh, I have to read so many books because BookTube demands it. Well, no, like I've got like 70 people watching my videos. Like, who cares? Who cares how much I'm reading? And I can definitely listen to more audiobooks. Last year, I didn't listen to as many at the beginning of the year. So anyway, my goal I set on Goodreads this year was to read 50 books. So last year I read 77, and this year the goal is just 50, which I will probably surpass, I would imagine, especially like the summer. I'm going to have way more time this summer than I did last summer because I'm not working on the yearbook, which I had to do a lot of over the summer last summer. So I'm thinking I'll have a lot more time. And the baby is getting older and is sleeping so much better. So like, I can actually do stuff when he goes to bed. I don't have to just go to bed myself because he might wake up in the middle of the night. Now I can just stay up and read or film videos. So that's pretty much my reading goal, and just to read what I want, maybe make monthly TBRs again a little bit, possibly, because I know I can actually have time to read those things. Before I couldn't make TBRs because I didn't know how much time I was going to have with the baby. But now that he's older, like I said, I know that I'm going to have a certain amount of times to read, and I know I can read probably 6 to 8 books a month if I wanted to. So I think I can make TBRs again. As far as channel goals though, my main goal is to start making more library content. And I know that's what everybody wants, and all my views, that every video that gets way more views is library related, but apparently I just don't care about views because I just keep making the videos I want to make. I'm always going to be talking about books. So, but I put out a poll a long time ago about, do you want to see, how many book videos do you want to see versus how many library related videos you wanted to see? And everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority said maybe 1 library video a week and 1 book related video a week. So that's my goal, is to maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do it on a schedule of like Saturdays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Saturdays. I don't know. But either way, I'm going to try to do 1 library video a week and 1 book related video a week. But I also want to keep coming out with my little rapid review videos that I used to do. I'd like to do rapid reviews for like every book that I read, just so, people that want to find them later on, not just you randomly watching them now or anything, just like later on, if people are reading that book and they want to find a review of it that's 5 minutes or less, because I know that's what I said I always wanted. I look at a book review and I see these 17, 20, 25-minute long book reviews. I don't have that kind of time, especially if they don't even like the book, or if it's something I don't think I'd want to read. I want rapid reviews, give me a 5-minute overall, plot summary, synopsis, pros, cons, what they thought about it, and move on. So that's what I want to bring back to the channel for sure. And then, like I said, a lot more library related content. I want to start going around and touring other libraries and seeing kind of where the future of the libraries are going. My school's getting a new high school we're getting a new high school in a year and a half. So I'll be doing lots of planning on the big move to the new library. So I'm going to film a lot of content for behind the scenes of that. And I'd like to try to find like architects and like whoever planned our library basically, and like see what went into their decision making for how they planned it and like where the future of libraries is going, and have some conversations about that. I think that could be interesting. Anyway, so those are some goals, and hopefully this video was somewhat interesting. Okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed, and I will talk to you guys later. Oh, let me know down below what you think about any of this. Do you think that these are good goals? Would you like to see these things on my channel? And is there anything else you want to see on my channel? I should put up a poll about that, I suppose. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.